I'm fine. Leni, how are you?
I am wonderful. I hear you read a very interesting book.
Oh, I did. Oh my gosh. I highly recommend Julia Alvarez's newest novel, The Cemetery of Untold Stories. Please go out and buy it right away and read it. It's just wonderful. But I also want to comment we are here. Nina, what is the area that we're in right now called? Beyond Ensenada?
We're on what they call the spit or the sand bar. That's part of Punta Banda.
Punta Banda, and you're going to hear the wind throughout our interview today. It's just lovely, and just to see the water right out in front of us, it's a magical place. I really recommend people come to the marina here in Punta Banda. But I want to introduce Nina Raffaele is going to be speaking with us today, and we're so excited to have you here with us. Thank you, Nina.
Thank you so much for inviting me. I'm beyond excited to be here with you.
So I know that in your early childhood you suffered a real, almost tragic, almost an ending to your life episode. Can you talk a little bit about that with us and how that has shaped you today?
Sure. Well, during my upbringing, I had a asthma and allergies that were pretty severe at one point, and they were managing it with at the time in the 80s, the latest medical protocol of albuterol, Proventil, and other drugs that were very hard on the body, and those protocols have been discontinued. However, people like me were affected with their nervous system and their heart, and so once I had an episode where I wasn't responding to medications, and I felt that I was about to have a heart attack. I lost faith in the doctor, and I lost faith in medications.
How old were you at that time?
I was 16 years old when I lost faith in medications, and I decided to take control by learning how to eat foods that weren't going to make me sicker.
Wow, and you did that all yourself?
I did. I realized that I had some habits that were creating more asthma symptoms. Like, for example, I was eating a lot of bread and cheese, and it was just creating a lot more inflammation in my lungs and congestion. And I realized that if I ate less of those things and ate less meat, which was also creating more inflammation, that I had less asthma symptoms, less coughing, and I learned how to make herbal antibiotics instead of drinking an excess of antibiotics, which a lot of people do.
Wow. Can you talk a little bit about herbal antibiotics? What are those?
Well, for me, the first one was cranberry and lemon juice with honey, which raw honey has a lot of propolis, which helped with the allergies. The lemon, that vitamin C helped break down all of the inflammation and congestion. And the cranberry has unbelievable benefits for the whole, for the respiratory system and the whole body to just fight back and boost the immune system. There's echinacea, there's golden seal, there's astragalus, there's angelica root. There's a lot of different ways that people can fortify our immune system, like black cumin seed oil, for example. That one is great to destroy. That is, in antiquity, it was called the medicine for everything but death. And black cumin seed oil is used to bring down symptoms of the thyroid, to manage digestion, and also diabetes, and just boost the immune system. And it's also for the lungs.
And where do you get that?
That is something that can be gotten at you can get it at a health food store as a seed, or you can get an extract as a capsule or a liquid. I ordered them online, to be honest with you. It's not locally used.
Black cumin seed oil.
Yes, Nigella noir, something like Nigella. Yeah.
It's black,
Yeah. And there's a lot of local herbs that support the lungs and antibiotics. It took a long time to learn about these things because I moved from place to place. There's different herbs I use in the U.S., others I use in Puerto Rico, but I definitely follow the same dietary guidelines: is eating warm teas and foods like ginger and cinnamon to keep my lungs in balance and not have the damp, like the Chinese medicine talks about damp and cold and damp and hot, all that. They're parallels. So that's how I started to manage it. So it's been a long, long time.
And was that hard to do? I mean, it sounds, I think, a little challenging for me when I try to think of doing all that, which I know is better for us and important to do. I don't know what I become stymied by, oh, how am I going to find those things? Or how should I prepare them? And how often should I use them during the day?
Yes, well, you have to start to build a different kind of a pantry because we love the convenience of prepared foods. And so I built a pantry that facilitates having enough dried goods and dried condiments and dried ingredients to mix with the fresh and support having the items that I use as a base. Like, for example, I might have dried ginger in case I run out of fresh, spirulina to help me with getting enough protein and greens as a capsule, right? Like I might have different items. So there is some preparation and change that goes into that, so you have the convenience. For example, I make my own vegetable broth to cook with, and I freeze that in advance. I freeze meals in advance, so when I'm in a hurry, I just grab it and heat it up. Stuff that it's just part of planning. It's a different logistical planning.
But boy, if it makes you feel better.
Oh, yeah. If it makes you feel better, it's worth all that.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
So how are you feeling? I mean, how does that work for you today?
Oh, I'm full of energy. I am so full of energy because I also get enough movement into my system, right? If I do mobility work, I do qigong in small increments during the day, and just keep the balance of energy, not too hyper, not too calm. Try and monitor that as well.
Oh my gosh. Okay, I need that. Okay, describe Qigong to me.
Qigong is working with the elements, and like, for example, you're working with your breath and the air and breathing it in deeply into your lungs, and visualize the oxygen getting to our heart and just clearing the mind at the same time. So it's an ancient practice of circulating our organs, energy, and aligning them with the elements of nature and all that is around us so that we can feel in balance.
Wow.
So do you still have the asthma?
I rarely have any issues. The lungs are still my vulnerable place, right? Everyone has their kind of health Achilles heel.
Yeah.
But I haven't had an asthma attack in years, or lung infections in years. So it's well under control.
Wow, that's
fabulous,
wonderful.
yeah.
So talk to me a little bit about your education along with that. What helped to back that up?
Yes, well, I'd love to. I got a master's degree at the Maryland University of Integrated Health. I graduated with the master's in 2022 to back all that up, because it's been a passion of mine with the nutrition. And I actually was going to become a nutritionist, but I really realized that it's more of a lifestyle thing that I want to support people with, because it's one thing to know what you're supposed to eat. It's another to be able to make it enjoyable and thrive and feel that it's pleasurable to eat what's good for us.
Yes,
It shouldn't be a chore, right? And so I love making it something special that you look forward to having. So the master's degree also includes coaching and mindfulness.
Wow, that's
So it's really about re-educating the taste buds.
Yes, I really believe in re-educating our taste buds. My mission is to have people fall in love with vegetables and fibers that are not grain in nature, right? To eat more seeds, to eat more roots, and just more natural, simple, unprocessed food. Process it at home is my message. And to eat the rainbow, all the different colors of delicious vegetables and fruits we have at hand.
Yeah. Well, but it sounds to me too for you and your learning and your path that it's been deeper than that as well. I mean, that it's really, I don't know if I want to use the word spiritual, because I don't want to tag a certain word on it, but that it really goes to a deeper sense of listening to your body too, really being aware of what your body is telling you, what it needs. And I think we're so cut off from our bodies now. Well, I think as Americans, in the United States, I think maybe in other places, maybe they're more in tune. But I think that we're so busy too much, and we don't pay attention, and we just do what's convenient or fast or, I don't know, or just something that I feel like this, but not really that I need this. Does that make sense?
Exactly. We need to go back to looking at what nourishment is. Is this sustaining me, or am I just filling my mouth because it tastes good? It should be both. And one of the things I'm very passionate about is spiritually connecting with what my body needs, and also connecting with my food and connecting where my food comes from, and putting that gratitude, that energy of gratitude into the food as I prepare it. So that I'm putting that intention of activating each and every nutrient in that food, and preparing my body to receive that nourishment with gratitude.
So it does have a spiritual aspect to
I
it,
definitely
right?
do believe in the spiritual aspect of it.
That's
Thank you
beautiful.
so much for bringing that
Oh,
out.
no, well, thank you for saying that. I think that, a group that I'm with, my meditation group, we'll sometimes have sessions of mindful eating together. But what you're talking about is something even different than that, and deeper, I think. I mean, it's one thing to slow down and really enjoy or taste and experience the food, but you're also talking about being aware of where it has come and what its benefit is and how it can help me. And I think that's even deeper, and also increases that mindfulness in such a way that we're almost having communication with the food we're eating and it with us, right?
Yes.
Absolutely.
Or does that sound too weird? But
No, I don't think so. No, I really don't. Because we look at water. We bless the water, and it changes.
Yes.
So why wouldn't it be?
And I'm
with
blessed.
that?
And you can bless the water in your food. You can bless the water in your food, absolutely. And I do mindful cooking because I'm just focusing on giving beautiful food with beautiful energy to the people that I'm lovingly preparing the food for. And then you enjoy it with the mindful eating, and then it becomes this amazing experience. It really does.
I remember a friend of mine got a divorce, and he was so angry and bitter. But he started making bread, and so he would punch the bread and in anger. And then I remember him bringing me a loaf one day, and the minute he left, I got rid of it because I thought I'm going to be eating all the
I don't want to take it that anger.
No.
But Lenny, I want you to also talk about what you talked to Nina and I about earlier about cooking for your dogs. Can you, and what happened with the friend that even came over? But tell that story.
I had heard a speech on dog food and the dog food industry that the food that we're feeding our dogs is atrocious. There's no nutrient in it. A lot of times it's roadkill and cancerous meat that they get from the big manufacturers. And so I started making my own dog food, all vegetables with some raw meat in it. But I had a case sitting with the raw vegetables, and a friend of mine looked at it and said, "Oh, that looks good," and she took some. She said, "Oh, that tastes really good." And so I began to eat it myself, of course not out of the same dish that the dogs are eating. And I noticed that when I ate the food consistently, that my skin, my complexion changed. It became more translucent. So I knew that I was onto something. So I fall in and out of the habit, but once I do, it really makes a difference in how I feel. So right now, because I had a little bit of a scare, I think you had one too, Mary.
Yes, yes.
And so I've been starting again for the last couple of weeks, eating a big plate of that in the morning, and I really do feel better. It really does.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
But it's too bad that we have to have a scare to make us change rather than to
Yes.
just stop and go, you know, what's better for me now, period, you know?
That's why prevention comes in. And I want to go back to another story about my how I became this health nut, right? When I was young, I went to visit my great uncle in Guayama, Puerto Rico, and when I got there, I met a gentleman and his wife. They were both diabetic. They were both blind, him and his wife. They were missing their limbs. They were missing their legs, both of them, and they were on dialysis. And they were offering me cookies and drinking beers, and I'm just sitting there like, whoa, is this for real? And that really scared me, and I was like, I don't want to continue drinking these soft drinks and eating cookies if this is, if that's runs in my family. And just changing your habit before you get the chronic illness is so much better.
And also listening to your body, because I think where this started with me, I was just telling Mary earlier that I got this recipe. It was called creamy chicken, and it called for chicken, obviously, chicken broth, and then it called for a big block of cream cheese that you put in it. And I remember thinking, oh, that doesn't...
It sounds heavy.
Yeah, and I thought, why didn't I pay attention? I should have listened to my gut instinct saying, this is not good.
See, that's the other thing I think that is really powerful. I even notice that sometimes before I put the fork to my mouth even, that something is telling me,
oh, that's not the best.
I should not be doing this. Now, I don't listen as often as I should, and then I pay the consequence.
Yes.
But it's been striking to me to even sort of get that voice. It's almost like, wait a minute, who's talking? Where's that coming from? And why? Why is that? But I think...
Never ignore a hunch. Never ignore a hunch.
Right.
Yeah.
Well,
And
in
I
our
feel-
own bodies and our intuition, and I think that it speaks louder, but we turn it off or tune it out.
Because we never learn to listen to that.
Or
we're
trust
really,
that.
Yeah,
Yes.
trust it. We're really gifted with that internal guidance system. But we've been taught that we have to depend on externals rather than...
Right.
than
I
what
agree.
Yeah.
100%. And what I advise my clients to do is to just start with something small and follow that voice and do it. And the next time it'll be easier to follow it, to follow that intuition. Each time it'll be easier.
It's a great gift, and we don't really seem to appreciate it or use it.
Even to start with something small, just to put down that fork and say, wait a second, maybe I better order something else, or maybe I better put this away for another day.
Yes, because you even talked earlier with us before we began the interview about how we shouldn't necessarily eat the same thing day in and day out, that our bodies change each day or have different needs each day, and to be attuned to that too. I think sometimes we get into such a habit, I'll get up and have my cup of coffee, right? And then I will have my, bagel or some fruit or something, and not really paying attention to, but what am I doing today that maybe my body will need more of in order to do it well,
Yeah.
right? And I really found that enlightening when you talked about that.
Oh, wonderful.
So thank you.
Oh, my pleasure. I think there's so many tonics that we can put into our tool belt and just come in and out and serve up something good, like a basil and cucumber infused water in our fridge to neutralize any acid or to get our stomach in a good place or cool us off and not need any sugar to it, and just give our body that little break of, this little break of having to process so many ingredients, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
There's a million creative ways to do it.
Yeah.
Well, we're hoping, Nina, that you're going to be teaching some classes starting in January, that I hope people will, look towards us for that information, and we'll be sending that out and talking more about all this that you've been bringing up, because I think it's so important, and I so appreciate you spending time with us today. Thank you so much.
Really appreciate it.
Oh, me too. And I can't wait to bring out my offerings, and we'll have a tasty time.
Yeah. Yay. Thank you.